What's going on, guys? Welcome back to No Impulse Control. I am Justin.
I am Jasmine.
You sound sad.
Just tired.
That's fair. You are positively tired or just tired?
Folks, he's making this joke because I have my positivity begets positivity begets positivity. Which, by the way, don't know what a baguette is. It's bread, but
I was going to say, that's bread, isn't it?
begets, not baguette. What
Baguette.
does it mean to beget something? Something. To generate. Positivity generates positivity.
That's super fair. I like that message.
Yeah.
I'm still, you positively tired, so it is the question.
I'm positively tired of your bullshit. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Okay, that was very rude and very good. Okay, that was
Thank
good
you.
job.
Thank you. How are you
Anyways,
doing,
Jasmine,
Justin?
well, all right. Well, I was going to say something, but it's okay. I am all right. I am here. I am also tired because we are coming to the end of the school year. Thank
Mm.
goodness.
Getting to that graduation season. I know
I
you
mean,
have a couple kids
it started
graduating.
graduating, started graduation season 3 weeks ago. But no, yeah, this is graduation week actually. So the seniors are
Mm.
officially done with whatever work they have. They are marching practice every day, and graduation is Friday. So we are
Nice.
coming to the end. I have a senior advisory, is what is so that's why I'm very involved with that. But no, that's pretty exciting stuff for them. I think that it's tiring, but I
Mm-hmm.
will also say that it's honestly I'm okay with it. Like it's one of those things that I'm like I'm good doing this thing that's keeping me tired.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so graduation season is upon us.
Yeah.
With that, question for you:
Yes.
when you graduate, let's think back to high school
When
because
I
both of us
was
have
a
graduated.
young boy.
Both of us have
Oh.
graduated both high school and college for.
Yep.
So let's think back to high school, being that it's graduation season for high
Yes.
schoolers.
Back to 2017. Yes.
Loser. 2016 is better.
You graduated in the year of the clowns. Great.
Yeah, I did. It was bad. Anyways,
Yeah, it was.
um, what what do you remember of graduation?
Um. I mean, so I remember getting off like the week before. Like seniors finished a week early-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember feeling so grown up and awesome coming in every day at like instead of at 8 a.m. or whatever 7:30, coming in at 9 a.m. for graduation practice and having to be there until like we did. I feel like it was 3 hours a day. I could be totally off, but it feels like it was 3 hours a day of walking practice and like you stand here, you walk there, and that was the worst because it didn't go that way on grad day because they didn't prep you for how many people were going to be in the hallway not following the rules and wanting that like one last hug before you get there kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
um but no, it was good, and I feel like our graduation was just so long, and just like so many people made these speeches that could have been so short, and they dragged it was very much like the UMF grads where it's just
Yeah.
like on, not that you would know, but on and
Yeah.
on
Facts.
and on. And it's just I don't know. Afterwards it was fun. We did a senior trip after. We did we went to Kobe and Bangor.
What a
I
trip.
know, we did the trampoline park and then Kobe and Bangor, and then we stayed the night at the Y, and we weren't allowed to go to sleep, and the person who was running the trip would come wake you up if you fell asleep. It was
Why?
bizarre because it would be counted as a sleepover if we went to sleep.
That's
And we had
weird.
to leave at like 5 a.m. the next day because a bunch of our seniors had um, they had championships for like baseball and softball. So we had to cut our senior trips short so that they could go. And it was like, why couldn't their parents just pick them
As I
up?
say, parents come get them.
Yeah. So that was mine.
Um,
What about you? What do you remember from way back in the day?
I don't. I mean, it was a stereotypical graduation for me. I remember, the week before, like you were saying. I do remember that my class was lucky because we got let out a week earlier. We had five
Mm-hmm.
days of snow days that we had for that year, and then we
Mm-hmm.
also, because the parents pushed really hard, the school board bumped our graduation up so that the parents could go to other schools'
Mm.
graduations, so it wasn't at the same time. Um, so we really missed out on like 2.5 weeks, which I'm not like upset by at all because I
Mm-hmm.
got out earlier. Um, but I remember thinking that like I was like, wow, that's kind of it's cool for us, but like I kind of feel a little bad for all the other seniors because like
Mm-hmm.
why can't all of us get out at the same time? But I do get
Right.
it. Like it makes sense. Um, I also remember, like you were saying, marching practice. Ours was,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had a, I won't say authoritarian, but she was very like we all respected her, and she was very much like you knew what she wanted and when she wanted it type of thing. Doing ours, um,
Right.
so we
So
had
you
to
got
make
your shit
sure.
done.
Yeah, exactly. But we did marching practice and did the whole thing. Small schools,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a lot easier to just like we know everybody. We're just gonna
Get through.
go in
Yeah.
and go through and do what do we need to do. I agree. Graduation was so long though. Like, and it was
It felt.
hot too.
It was hot in a gym that's not normally hot. Why was it
Mm,
so hot?
yeah, it was bad. Um, yeah, I mean, and the build-ups of like class night and
Mm-hmm.
baccalaureate and like all the stereotypical graduation things like it
You go
was.
to all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, I hated it because I didn't get anything out of it. Like it was nothing that I was doing. I was just going because that's what I was told I needed to do.
Did you guys do parents' night?
That would have been I'm a no. What is parents' night?
So okay, that's why I'm asking because UMF did a parents' night. Not either of our years, but I
Yeah,
know it was
well,
something one of my friends had talked about my freshman year. So that's what 2018 they graduated.
mm,
Um, Also, sorry for everybody. This is an ice pack. My mouth is on fire from surgery a little while ago, so I'm icing it. That's why I'm off camera at the moment.
we don't have to lie to them. We're pre-recording as well.
We are pre-recording. Yeah. Well, we don't have to lie to them. No, but parents' night. They explained it was like the
I
parents
say as I
come,
lied to them earlier.
right? Um, but no, the parents come to like, from what I gather, they come to like a banquet thing where you honor them for helping you get through. Like, I guess high school was a big one that my friends had talked about. Like, oh yeah, they don't do. It's like family night here at UMF, and I was like, whose families are driving to UMF for this thing? I
Yeah.
mean, I guess it's like the night before graduation. That makes sense. But the high school one, I don't even think we did it at WA, but it would be
We didn't.
like you honor your parents for the night. So the seniors put on like a dinner, and then you invite your parents to come, and you just, you say thank you before you graduate, which I think is sweet, but also a lot of parents work and they're
Yeah.
not able to take off, a couple nights before graduation to go to this probably not great dinner
Hmm.
hosted by a bunch of kids who are like, "Thank you for helping me," because they're 17.
Right. I also
So,
like, and there are some kids out there whose parents aren't involved. So like, doing
right,
a
so
night
that's
like that
hurtful
would be
too.
pointless for them.
Well, and I think it was open to more than just parents. It was like siblings and grandparents and
Mm.
stuff like that too, which is good.
So for something like that, we did. There was a moment where they were like, "How many cards do you want?" And there was like a final assembly where
Oh, like
parents were
graduation
invited,
cards?
and then yeah, like just we could get the cards that we wanted and give them to the
Mm-hmm.
people we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during final assembly if your parents or your person showed up, which you were
Mm-hmm.
in charge of inviting them to, which
Right.
was during the school day, so it really didn't matter. Like, not many people. I mean, I say that my family, who is not in a high status situation,
Mm-hmm.
weren't able to show up. But there was that option. So I ended up just
Mm-hmm.
bringing them home and giving them to them because I was like, that it's not happening. I know it. I don't expect it, type of thing.
Right. Well, it's in the middle of a work day. Like,
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
a big deal, but jobs don't just be like, oh my gosh, your kid's graduating, take as much time as you want.
right.
Unless you've got a really good boss.
Yeah. I
So,
do remember something else though. I remember
mhm,
my brother Noah. He did. I can't remember if it was graduation night or if it was class night, but either
mhm,
way, he had to do a speech, and
mm.
because he was valedictorian or salutatorian, one of the two.
Congrats to
Um,
Noah.
yeah, show off. Um,
What'd you say?
I said show off. But no, he did a speech, and it was literally like lyrics, like different songs that were like that were like impactful for him, and he like picked
Mhm.
out lyrics of those songs and like pulled them into the speech and tried to like line it up, and it was really creative and really cool. um so that was just like, it was a cool thing that he did, and I was like, wow,
Mhm.
that's, I could never. And that's probably why he's valedictorian and I'm, 16th in the class, like out of
I
32.
was 30. I was 32nd out of 114.
Nerd. I think
Well,
percentage wise you're higher than me.
I would have been higher if dance class had not been rated the same as honors classes.
Interesting.
I think dance is very important, don't get me wrong, but I don't appreciate how it was rated comparatively.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
So, yeah.
that's where I was. That's
Hmm.
the most
I
I
got a
remember from
question for you.
graduation. Hmm.
Did you get graduation gifts?
Did I get them or did I give them?
Did you get them? Because I don't
Yes.
remember really getting. Like, I got cards with some money. It wasn't a whole lot. Um, I got some, like I have. This was in one of my cards. It's a little glass owl. It's like a little statue thing.
Hmm.
I got some of the stuff that's like up here on my shelving. I got, but it wasn't like huge, right? Like, it's not tens of thousands of dollars worth of things. I'm assuming you didn't get, correct?
Oh yeah, no. I got like, gift, like a cards, gift cards, gas,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. We did
Yeah.
I think Dad and Kara got me a couple of like
Mm-hmm.
more expensive, not like,
For
not
sure. Yeah.
crazy amounts of money, but like more expensive
For
gifts,
sure.
like,
It's a big thing you
more,
graduated. That's,
yeah,
yeah.
more logical, like this is what you're gonna need as you go to college type stuff.
Have you seen some of the graduation gifts lately? And specifically, I'm thinking about the money caps. You seen the money caps?
I
You know
have
what I'm
not.
talking about?
No.
So, I'm so excited to share this with you because I saw it on TikTok and I was like, no effing way. Is this like a popular thing? Apparently, it's a popular enough thing that some parents are feeling shame over not being able to do it. And by the way, any of you feeling shame, please do not. This is not the norm. I say as, the speaker on this topic. It's money that they have rolled up in the shape of a graduation cap, which is super cool. It's super creative. I don't know if you guys can see, like, it's in the shape of that graduation cap, and it's got like the little. Oh, well, I'm gone forever now. One moment.
Technical
It's
difficulties.
It's a little too low. Okay, there we go. But it's in the shape of the graduation cap, and it looks like, the cap, and then the tassel is um, usually like just a string or something with like their year. Super
Yeah.
cute. But I was looking through it, and a couple of them that I saw was 20s. That like all the family, their extended family, everybody,
Yeah.
that was the gift. Was they did 20s, and it was like a here's your fund as you turn 18. You're joining the real world. Here's a starter fund, which is
Mhm.
amazing. If you can do that, that's incredible. But this girl posted, and she was like, this was my only graduation gift, and some people were getting so much, and like, this is all I got. First of all, take a step back. That's more than
Yeah.
most of us get.
Chill
She
out.
got all of those were rolled up hundreds to make the border of the cap, and it's filled in, and then the little whatever outside of it to look like a grad cap. Hundreds, Justin. I mean, there must have been over $3,000 there.
How do you look at that
Actually,
and are like,
that's probably not even enough.
how do you look at that and are like, you know what? I need more money. How dare you not give me enough? Like, how do you do that? Because like, I know you and
Right.
I, we literally cannot look at that and be like, wow, wow,
Wow,
that's
I wish I had
garbage.
that.
Yeah, like you and
Right.
I were like, okay, thank you for the gift that I don't know what to do with
Mm-hmm.
myself now.
Right. Like if someone were to just hand me that amount of money, I think I would give them my kidney. Like
I would
that
I
you
would
must be
throw up in that
requesting.
moment.
Right. Like that's so I mean, so I just had obviously I just had the wisdom teeth surgery. My mom paid for that for me and I'm paying her back.
Hmm.
But even that amount of money, like the little amount realistically for a surgery that it was, I almost puked when she said she would help out because it was
Hmm.
like, thank you, first of all. And I don't know what to do with this. So I'm paying her every cent back
Hmm.
because she loaned it to me. And these people are complaining about getting 3,000 plus dollars in a grad gift. It just blows my mind.
I got so Darcy paid for my tires back when I had the Pontiac. I think it was the
Mm-hmm.
Pontiac, either Pontiac or Hyundai. But
Mm-hmm.
she paid for four brand new tires with money that she had. We
Mm-hmm.
were not married. She did not have to
Mm-hmm.
do it. I was not asking her to do it. But she's like, I'll
Right.
just pay for it and you can pay me back. And then we got
Mm-hmm.
married and I never paid her back. And I still feel guilt for not paying her back. Like I knew I was going to marry this girl. But at the same time, like
Right.
now if I pay her back, I'm just here's the money and now it's going back into our account type of thing.
Right.
But
You take it out of your out of your graduation fund, out of your joint account, and put it into your joint account.
yeah, literally. So like I don't know. Man, I guess I know why. I mean, obviously, you and I
Mm-hmm.
were raised in certain situations that,
Mm-hmm.
just like we act differently than what we would if, there
Mm-hmm.
was financial backing to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um but it's wild to me sometimes, and I honestly I have these conversations with my kids often of like, you feel like I have to do this thing for you when
Right.
in reality I don't. I'm being
Right.
nice. Like I get
You're
snacks for
not
my
owed
class.
this.
Yeah, I get
Right.
snacks for my class. I literally buy a drawer full of
The
snacks.
snacks thing is obnoxious with these kids.
Yeah, it's bad. But I buy a drawer full of snacks
Mm-hmm.
each trimester. So 3 times a year, I'm going to the
Mm-hmm.
grocery store and loading up on snacks for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, so my rule is you get one a day. You have to
Mm-hmm.
ask before you take it.
Mm-hmm.
And once it's gone, it's gone. So
Right.
as soon as there's no more snacks, it's over.
There's no more snacks until
Yeah.
next trimester.
Yeah. And I don't care if you're in my class or not. I prefer you being in my class if you're going to go take,
Mm-hmm.
the snacks. But I don't
But there's
care because
extenuating circumstances.
yeah, everybody has, their own circumstances, but like
Mm-hmm.
I had last trimester, I had a kid like look me in the eyes and tell me I needed to go get more snacks because they ran out. And I looked at the kid and I was like, that's a privilege. It's not a right, right? He's like, well, it's a
Right.
privilege. And I had to explain him what a privilege
Oh
is.
my god, that
And I was
makes me
like,
want to
there's the
vomit.
problem. You don't know what a privilege is. So I wonder how many other people know what a privilege is. And I'm not like blaming this kid for not knowing. Like, that's
Well, no,
it's a
it's yeah.
it's a gap in knowledge. It is what it is. But like at the same time, you shouldn't like entitlement is not something that you should feel all the time. Like, yeah, I'm really good at certain things. Okay, I'm gonna own that. I'm gonna be real with that. I'm
Right.
gonna be honest with that. But I'm not gonna be a jerk. Like, you give me ten
Right.
thousand dollars, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I need more money. Like you need to give me more, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Like that's such a
Well, and the
I don't know.
entitlement of like the handouts. Like I think of
Mm,
Veruca Salt, right? So we just finished Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and some of the things she was saying where it was like, I want it now. I want
mm-hmm,
this now. And I hear some of my kids say that, and so I made a point of bringing that up of like, this is partly her and partly her parents, and like we talked about it because it was like these kids were like, yeah, that makes sense. She wants it now, so she's going to ask for it. And I said, but she's not asking. She's demanding. So this girl posting on TikTok about her graduation cap of hundreds that would literally change you or I's life right now.
mm-hmm,
Like, I'm thinking of the bills that I have in the payments. I'm even thinking back to when I was a freshman in college, the amount of money that I needed to spend on things. That would have changed my life. That probably would have made it so I didn't have to take out a credit card at
mm-hmm,
that young of an age or take out an extra student loan or whatever. Like that would have genuinely changed my life.
mm-hmm.
So I was also looking up just now like what are some like common gifts um for like graduates this year. This is on CNN, so like take it with a grain of
Yeah.
salt. But the 51 best graduation gifts they'll actually want in 2024. All right. So I'm just looking at some things. So one of the first ones is like a DIY is called Dormify Evil Eye Neon Sign. I don't necessarily want the evil eye in my room. Personally, I think I would rather
What's an
keep that
evil
out of my
eye?
room. It is. What is the evil eye? Um, so it's a symbol often depicted as four concentric circles in the shape of an eye. So it's like the blue, lighter blue, lightest blue, white circle thing. It's an emoji.
Hmm.
Symbol of protection originating in ancient Greece. It's been found across cultures thousands of years. It's used to ward off evil inventions such as envy, malice, and curses. But it is, if used wrong, or you're just like, oh my god, this is cute, it can be also interpreted as like putting that evil on you because you're using it as a tchotchke rather than as like an actual manifestation thing.
Hmm.
So it's just about intent. And I'm thinking college freshmen probably aren't using it with the best intentions.
Yeah.
So then the next thing is Apple MacBook Air M3. Take a wild guess how much the neon sign costs.
Neon sign around 150 $200 because neon
Okay,
signs are
how much do you think the
typically expensive.
MacBook costs?
Oh, upwards of 500 because it's an
So
Apple.
right, so the neon sign is $70.
Wow, that's not bad.
The Apple MacBook is $1,099.
I could not even have dreamed. And I want this to
Mm-hmm.
be clear. My parents bought me a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they legitimately got me a laptop because I needed it.
Yep,
I could not have dreamed for them to spend
I remember your
over a
laptop.
thousand
Yes,
dollars.
right. That's
I still have
insane.
it right here.
This laptop got us through some aggressively hard classes together.
They bought me this which was refurbished and
Mm-hmm.
was it's been used. It was refurbished. It was taken like whatever. I was so grateful they bought me this
Well,
because
and you took care of it because it
yeah,
was something that they gave you, not
right.
because
I
it's
don't
not an
think
expectation that as soon as it breaks, you're just going to be like, more, please. I would like another $1,000 laptop, please.
it's not just not an expectation. It's not a reality. There's no way
Right,
in my world,
right,
in my mind, in my head, in anything that I would go to my parents and be like, "Hey, the laptop I that you bought me, I broke. You need to buy me a new one." It's not
right.
what I would do. It's just not it. So it's wild to me that people do that. That kids do that. I I don't even know why. And I know Nana's gonna that'll be Nana's question of why do you think that they do because we work with kids? I have no clue. I
It's
have
because
ideas, but
most of our kids have parents who wanted to stream so far away from what their parents did that they
yeah,
swung back the other way. And I'm not saying that they did wrong by wanting to do differently. Different is not wrong
right.
because
But
there
the
were some
pendulum
things their
swung.
parents did that were probably not great. I mean, saying no to literally everything is one thing, but then on the flip side, you can't say yes to everything. You have to set boundaries and
You
say, you
gotta
know
have a
what?
boundary.
I can't afford that right now. You know
Right.
what? You could buy that if you work for it. Like, here's a summer job. You know what? I'm sorry, you don't need XYZ.
Yeah.
And I know, like, so my mom is a mom, and I know your parents were parents that did the we're not going to buy that for you.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not. Are we spending $1,000 on a laptop for you?
Yeah.
Because I
Even if I
asked, like, I
asked,
was
yeah. I didn't even
right.
ask because I knew the answer. I knew there was not a
I
chance.
knew the
I had to
answer, but I
buy
still wanted to ask.
I had to buy. Me and Noah put in for like we saved up money so that we
Hmm.
could buy our first Xbox.
Yep.
And ever like
Same
I
with
have
me.
not asked my dad or my mom to buy
Yep.
me any new consoles. The only time
Yep.
that I really asked them to buy me things was when it had to do with like not life and death, but like more
Hmm.
necessity.
For
And
sure.
and to be fair, I know that I was not always the most grateful. So like dad, mom, if you're listening, I sorry. I was a teenager and
A child.
I was a child. And I am
Well, and
owning up
that's
to
the
it. I
other
made my
thing.
choices, but at the same time, like I would not have asked. I would not have asked either of them to be like, "Hey, I need a new car. You need to buy that for me because
Right.
you're my mom or
So,
you're my
like,
dad."
so my mom in high school bought me a car. It was a $300 beater off the side of the road.
Yeah,
I love that vehicle because my mom saw it, knew I needed a new car because mine was shitting the bed, And she was like, you know what? This is a beater, but you're going to learn to take care of a car. I learned how to change my oil in that car. I learned how to fix, how to jerry rig my exhaust in that car. I learned how much that car could really cost if I break things. Like, that was my baby. I love Leona. That was my car's name, was Leona. She's a little Nissan, little blue Nissan Sentra, and I freaking loved her. And now I have my car, and I'm very proud of my brand new car. But when I in college, when I bought my first car, my first real adult car, like that was a sense of pride for me.
Hmm.
And I see kids posting all the time on TikTok that their mom and dad didn't buy them the right color vehicle.
Get over it.
You just got a Jeep Wrangler, like a brand new
Yeah.
2024 Jeep Wrangler. I don't even know if that's a vehicle yet, but it probably is. But like a
I'll tell you what.
2024 Jeep whatever.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine my mom coming home and giving me a new like.
It wouldn't have happened.
But I
Your
was
mom or
also
my
like,
parents, it wouldn't have
I'm
happened.
so reckless. Why? Like kids are so reckless. Why would you want to give them something like that you know they're gonna break?
Right. I I'll tell you what, like I'm not a parent yet. Neither of us are parents. I want that to
Mm-hmm.
be clear. So like
Yep. So we're clearly educated enough to speak
yeah,
on this
we're
topic.
the best to talk about this. But anyways, we both are teachers though. And we
Mm-hmm.
both work with kids daily
We see
and
the
work with
byproducts of your children.
yeah, we literally do. Like that's just part of it. And
Mm-hmm.
part of the idea of that being us being like teachers and holding them accountable is we are setting those boundaries. So like I have kids
Mm-hmm.
who come to me, I have a homework assignment and I do due dates. I'm very frontal with my due dates. They
Mm-hmm.
can still turn stuff in afterwards, but they can't
You're
get
just
full
not going to
credit.
get full credit, right?
Yeah. Um so when they turn stuff in or when they're missing stuff and I'm like, hey, you should do this, and they turn it in and they're like, you need to go grade that, I look at them and I say, all right, it'll be a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, whoa, like it shocks them. And I'm like, you made me wait a couple weeks, so why should you not have
I
to
have
wait a
other
couple
things that
weeks?
I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'm not going
it's
to
a
stop and
holding you
drop.
accountable. It's a holding you
Right.
accountable. And just because you want me to do something doesn't mean I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Especially when they're like, "Well, my mom's mad because my grades, my grade is whatever," and I'm like,
shoulda did it on
"Why didn't
time.
you? Why didn't you turn this in when I emailed you and your mom 5 times? When
Hmm.
I offered you extra time to work on it? When I gave you another syllabus? Like, why didn't you say, hey, man, I'm really struggling getting this done?"
And we're only
Because
a
it
small
sounds
part
like
in their lives. If we're being 100%
right.
honest, we're a very small part in their lives. But if we can set that boundary now as their teachers, if we can
Mm-hmm.
set them up for the future with the idea of, oh, not everything's going to be given to me, even if parents or grandparents or whoever is like, feeding into it, at least there's something. If they remember that little bit of, Miss Corkins or Mr. Davis said no that one time because I was late on an assignment, then we're doing our job. But
I'd
it
love to think that they
sucks.
hold on to it, but I don't think they
No,
do.
they definitely don't. They definitely don't. And I think they do a little more in my level, in high school
Mm-hmm.
level,
High
but
school
like
for
elementary
sure.
school and
Yeah, no.
in middle school, it's in one ear out the other. Maybe not
Yeah.
even in one ear. It might go over their head because some of them don't
I don't even
listen.
think it touches their head sometimes.
Just like way over. Um
So, oh, sorry.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So, kind of coming off of the gifts, um, the other thing that I saw recently that I was like flabbergasted on was graduation parties. But parents. So obviously not all kids, right? I feel like I'm not all whatever, but not all kids are doing this. Obviously, we didn't. But I've seen a bunch of people take their kids on like vacations for their grad parties, and they've gone to like I saw one the other day. She goes, "We're celebrating my graduation party in the Turks and Caicos," and I was like, "I had my graduation party out back with Connor. We did a joint graduation party. We had a barbecue. It rained the whole day, and then
Hmm.
when it stopped raining, we barbecued everything immediately. It was great. It was so fun. I got my quilt. Connor got his quilt. Um, that was one of my favorite gifts. Was the quilt that
My
we got.
my graduation party was also my birthday
Yeah,
because
because
it
you
was around the
graduated
same
right.
time.
Yeah, we did
So
my
it was,
birthday same. Yep.
it made sense. And it was also an element of, one, we're getting everybody together, so that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
but also two, saving everybody some money instead of having to buy me birthday gifts
Right.
and a graduation party. Then boom, you do one and all. And like maybe
Mm-hmm.
the gift's a little more expensive, but it's not like this
Because
big
it's
thing.
a grad, yeah.
Yeah. So
Or people that wouldn't
yeah,
normally get you a birthday present could also get you. You know, I
right.
get you.
But like it was very like, yeah, I don't know. I can only hope to give my kid the best in the future,
Right,
but at the
but I
same
can't do
time, they're
that.
not going to be spoiled. They
No,
won't. And being they're gonna be spoiled in an
they're gonna be
appropriate
loved.
way. Yeah, they're
They're
gonna
gonna
be
be
loved.
loved,
Thank you. That's what I was
and
looking for.
that's so
And part
like
of love,
to be
part of
loved is to
love
be
is saying
spoiled.
no. Part of love is setting boundaries.
Well, and there's setting boundaries in a healthy way, and this is not to say the entire generation, but the parents of our kids, their parents often were like, "Oh, it's tough love, no to everything," and
Right.
that's also not great because
Right.
yeah, there
No.
are some times that you say, you know what, we're gonna splurge a little bit on this trip to, you know what, you're right, we do have a little extra money for McDonald's tonight.
Yeah.
It's sometimes treat, a little treat here and there is nice. But taking your kid to the Turks and Caicos for a graduation party is obscene. Unless you already had a family trip planned and you're just like,
Yeah.
throw it in.
Yeah.
But even still.
Yeah. I
But no,
don't get it.
these
I'm not a rich person, and I don't ever see myself becoming a rich person. The only way that will happen is if this podcast gets big. So if you want to help
Speaking
out, you
of
need to send
which,
that stuff out.
the Instagram and the
Yeah, there
TikTok
you
are
go.
no impulse control. You can find us on all of those platforms. We post every Sunday on YouTube and Spotify, 5 p.m. You can follow Justin over at TSK. That could also get big.
And that's the end of
I'd
the
like
video.
to.
Goodbye.
No, I think so. Like, yeah, I don't know. These kids are
I don't
spoiled, man.
either. I don't.
Well,
I don't get it, but
one of the things that I've been noticing a lot more that I've been loving is these younger parents who are doing a lot more like thrifted stuff.
mm-hmm.
But thrifted can become, hey, I'm doing this because it's environmentally conscious and we're reusing, and you're a kid, you don't need luxury designer stuff. But it can quickly become, oh my god, it's so chic to thrift things. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, it's so like, let's go thrifting because then we can find all these vintage things and like rich people who mark up the prices because they thrift it and then sell it for like
Yeah.
an upsell. I don't like that. I think thrifting is really important for people who cannot afford or who want to be environmentally conscious, but not just for the sake of upselling everything you find.
Right.
And a lot of, like, I know, not a lot of, I have a couple of kids that I worked with at the daycare when I worked at the daycare in college who you get messy at daycare, right? And their parents would send them in like luxury clothes, and then thrifting became big again and they swapped and now they're in like all thrifted clothing, and their mom essentially just said, oh, just throw it out, we'll just go thrift for another one. I felt like that's not the purpose of thrifting. It's not throw away clothes, just
Right.
put your kid in a paper gown at that point.
Yeah.
So
Get a
I
trash
don't know.
bag, cover your kid in it. It'll be fine
Right,
if you're gonna throw it away.
which you also shouldn't
Speaking
do
of
because that's a
college,
waste of trash bags.
I
But
agree.
yes,
But speaking of college, I have a
yeah,
question for you.
I have an answer for you.
Do you? I'm sure you. I'm sure you won't. I don't know. You might. I'm sure you will actually. I'm putting you on the spot. When you think of college, what? Because I have a
Okay.
specific memory. What is that specific memory that you're like, you know what? That was college. Not a feeling, a memory.
What is a specific memory where I think of college? Um, Staying up during my sophomore year, so during practicum. Maybe it was junior. No, it was sophomore year. It was during practicum.
Practicum was junior.
Sophomore for me. I'm a year below you.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, I meant to say sophomore, but you said
yep.
junior, so my brain was on junior. Anyways.
But my specific memory is staying up really late, hanging out with you at the gym until like 11 o'clock. Whenever you got off, I think it was eleven
Mm-hmm.
fifteen, and being an absolute douche canoe and grabbing onto the hood of your car because I'm really bad at saying goodbye to my friends and I didn't want to go back to my dorm. And we rode around on the hood of your car for a while, and then you dropped me off at Purington. And then I
I never drove
realized,
out in the road. I want that to be clear. I was just around the parking lot.
correct. Um, yeah, no, I got back in your car before you dropped me off to Puritan. My bad. Before you went home. But then I realized that I had something due that night, and I stayed up. So I had been up all day, did practicum, went to your work, stayed up all night, did that assignment, that lesson plan for my teacher, and then stayed up for the next 3 days and slept not at all for 3 days straight and just drank Red Bulls. Red Bulls? What was I drinking at the time? It was energy drink.
I think you were on Monster at that point.
Mm-mm. I didn't do Monster after high school because I had a heart thing.
Oh.
What was the energy drink everybody was drinking
Was
in
it
college?
Amped?
Wasn't
Was that one?
Celsius. It was oh my god, Bang Energy.
Bangs, yep.
That dropped off the map, by the way, after the
Yeah,
big
it really
lawsuit
did.
came
It's
out. They just
gone.
disappeared. But no, I was drinking. I had like 7 or 8 bangs, and over the course of like this, whatever. And I stayed up, and I was eating garbage food and not sleeping, and we had something due the next morning, and I went into practicum, and Corin Coughlin called me on it and was like, "You have not slept. You are in the same clothes you've been in for 2 days. Go home, take a shower, and sleep because
I
your
don't even remember
practicum
who that
teacher,
is.
Corin,
Yeah.
she did. She was the one that did our practicum placements. She was the one that said, "Here's where you're going." She
Hmm.
taught. I know what she taught too, and it's escaping me. But she was one of our teachers. She was one of the four that we had with Teresa, Dan, Kate, and Corin.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
anyway, she called me on it because we had her, and she said go sleep because I had fallen asleep in my practicum placement in the special ed room while they were doing story time and reading aloud, and I was supposed to be taking notes, and I fell asleep, and one of the kids had to wake me up, and they contacted her because they were really concerned about me.
Fair.
That's what screams college to me, was all these fun memories mixed in with me not sleeping for 3 days and
Yeah.
still thinking fondly and being like, that was cool.
I
Don't
lied.
not sleep
I
for
don't
3 days,
have one.
kids.
Yeah. Don't not sleep for 3 days. That's bad for your
Mm-hmm.
health in general.
Everything.
Um, I don't have one. I have many. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I don't know. I always think back to like location. That's how my brain works. Is where
Mm-hmm.
was I and how did I feel in that moment? And a lot of it
Yep.
comes back to our apartment,
Yep.
the
That felt
FRC.
like college.
Yeah, I and like even when I went back recently, I went over to like when I babysat my dad
Mm-hmm.
in Farmington. It was still like I still had that like pull back to the apartment,
Yeah. What's it look
which is
like
so
now?
weird. Like our apartment, they're not much different.
I know the year after Storm and I moved out, the girls that rented from us afterwards, well, not from us, but rented afterwards, put a ton of plants out on the porch.
Yeah, no,
It was like a cute
it
little
was
jungle.
the grill's gone.
Yeah, it was a health hazard.
But yeah, like just the times and like there was many times where it was
Mm.
like college was fun. It was a good time for me. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Even the times where it wasn't fun, it was still fun.
Hanging out and watching any sports game at Frisbee House, that screams college to me too.
Yeah, that was also one
I
too.
because you guys introduced me to watching, like, I love hockey as a Canadian. I have to legally. Um, but I liked going over there to watch hockey games with you guys because you guys were so animated. It was, I don't know, it was different. I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I also, and this is the weird part. This is why I'm bringing up college.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the graduation feeling for
Mm.
me, and the graduation feeling for me, it it extended.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you had this same like feeling or not, but
Mm-hmm.
like it was like I didn't have that closure in the moment. Like there
Mm-hmm.
was not. And for those who don't know, my graduation for college was canceled because of COVID, so we couldn't get together. They did this like virtual thing, which good effort, but also
Could have been done much better.
could have been done so much better. I'm not going to go into it because it makes me more mad than anything else. But so like I didn't have that closure. But then like when it got to move out time, so like in May, I had
Mm,
that same like feeling from, early early April, where the end of the year is coming. You have that like excitement, but at
mm-hmm.
the same time, like, crap, this is it. And
Right.
like it still happened, and I'm sure everybody had that with moving out, all that. I get that, but it just like that feeling hits, and sometimes like I get reminded of that feeling, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
a mix of like excitement, happiness, and like extreme sadness because that
Yeah.
part of my life is closing, type of thing.
Yeah, this
um
chapter, yeah.
yeah.
Moving you out, like, I moved in and out of apartments and dorms and whatever, and I don't know, it wasn't the same thing, but moving you out and knowing that I was staying there
Hmm.
and that you were, I knew, like, I knew you were a year older, you were going to graduate. It was the same thing when Darcy moved out. It was like that part of me is leaving.
Yeah,
And then moving you out, it was a little bit different because we had directly lived
we
together,
were living together, yeah.
and helping pack that last box, that really tall one that was obnoxious and should not have been used. Um, I will never forgive you for that box. But packing that last super heavy box into the vehicle and like closing the door, and I drove, I don't remember which one I drove, but I drove one of the vehicles. It wasn't my car. It was one of the big ones.
I think you drove
Um,
mine.
I drove one of the big ones. Like, I
Maybe
think I
the
drove
Jeep.
Paul's. I think it was the Jeep. But driving the Jeep. Oh yes, it was because I could sit close enough with all the stuff in the back. I had to have the
Hmm.
little leg spot. Um, I have very short legs. But I drove the Jeep and just following you guys. I mean, I cried most of the way to the apartment, to your new apartment, because it was like, man, like, I'm not even the one graduating, and yet a big part of my life is just like that chapter is done.
It's the
And I knew we
chapter
were still
thing.
going to hang out, but it was going to be so different. And it was like you were an actual adult now with like a real big boy job, and you were moving into a different place, and it was like, oh, I'm going to be stuck here in Farmington, and I only have one friend who is half attending classes.
Yeah.
Um, because all my other friends were gone because of COVID. I was very isolated after that.
The weird thing is, I almost said I was staying. I almost signed on for another year,
I know.
because if I would have, I mean, with COVID, you never knew. Like, it wasn't something you knew
Mm-hmm.
about. But like in the moment when it hit, I was like, do I stay and just do another year here,
Do I
travel to
stay
my
or do
job,
I go?
or do I like go and live closer to my job and closer to
Right.
Darcy, and like, and live in a place that I'm in the moment I didn't really want to live in, because I didn't really know Darcy's grandparents that good. Like, it
Right.
was like I knew them and I, respected them and all that, but like it was just
Mm-hmm.
not, the relationship hadn't been built. And the reason that our
Right.
relationship is good now is because of that time period. But like it's
Right.
just like there was a moment where I was like, do I stay and essentially do a fifth year of college, but just do a big boy job instead? Which
Mm-hmm.
I think, and this is gonna might be a dagger here, but I think I made the right call. Like, for
I think you
myself, I
did
made the
too.
right call.
I think if
Um,
you had stayed, it would not have helped you
no,
move into the mature place you are now, for lack of a better
no,
term.
I would have very
Like,
much
you would
saw
have,
myself as a kid still, and I would have
right,
hung out
you would
with
have been
you, and we would
stuck.
have done a bunch of crap,
Okay, hurtful.
like what we were
Um,
doing when I was in college.
right. Well, no, and I needed, like, because I started student teaching that spring, and I ended up staying. Actually, no, not even student teaching. It was when I graduated that I started staying at the apartment.
Yeah,
Because
there
before
was like a
that, with
it's
you,
like a time where you stayed like the week, and it was only supposed to be like the night, and you were
yeah,
like, I'm just gonna stay, and I'm like, all right, I don't really care. Like,
yeah, because you had stuff you were doing outside, like mowing lawns and stuff like that. And Storm and I were like, "You want any help? You want a buddy? Want a
you want a
friend?
friend,
We could be a
a
friend." No,
pal?
but there was. I don't know if you knew this, but during student teaching, there was a weird time where we just didn't see each other except for at school.
Yeah,
And then after school, we just, unless we were, whatever, but we just didn't hang out.
it was at the
And
beginning
I
of your
think,
student teaching.
was it the beginning?
Yeah, because the end of it was we were hanging out because we did half a days, so
Oh,
we'd
yeah.
stay at school until 2:30, but then
Chat.
we'd like literally just talk.
Well, and it felt weird to go back to your place, to Darcy's grandparents, because that was like your place, and I needed to go an hour home to my place, and I
Yeah,
knew that I couldn't spend the night. Um, but it was a very different, I don't know, it felt very different than when we lived together, which made me kind of sad.
It
And
was
then that
adapting, is
summer
what it
hit.
was. The changing,
It was definitely change for sure.
which neither of us
And
do well with
then
change. So
no, and it. I don't know. It was so different than how we lived because when we lived together, we were. I mean, apart from that time we were fighting, but we were essentially attached at the hip. Like we did everything together. We had
yeah,
our routines down pretty packed. Um, we would wake up and go to school, but then as soon as we got home from school each night, we would hang out until bedtime,
and
and
then
then
we were
we'd wake
always
up.
doing something too. Like that's the other thing. There was
Right, we were
always
always
something
going
going on.
somewhere, or eating, or doing whatever, playing video
Just
games, or
planning
watching a movie
Survivor.
together, playing Survivor. Like we were always together,
Yeah,
and that suddenly that change happened, and then it felt like I was like, not that I was, but it felt like I was intruding when I would come over to the grandparents because it wasn't where I lived anymore, and I was like, oh, I am a guest here. This feels very strange. I don't know if you felt that when you would come over when Storm and I were living together, because I know you came for like a couple weekends or whatever, and we
I felt like
changed a
I was
bunch.
gonna say it was like back and forth. It was hard for
Mm-hmm.
me to come over because
Mm-hmm.
in my mind the apartment was mine. So why is it
Mm-hmm.
changing? But at the same time, I
Right.
had to, and this happened a lot. Was I would correct myself in my own head of it's
Mm-hmm.
not where I live anymore. Like I don't
Right.
live here anymore. And I'd see like
Right.
you guys would move the couch, which was minuscule, which I don't think actually happened until like 3 or 4 months after I moved out.
Right.
But you
Well, we
guys
got
would
a new
move the
couch.
couch. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that, I don't love that, but I'm also not
I
living
like the
here.
couch better over here. Why'd you move
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Literally, that was what
Yep.
in my head, that's what I was saying, but I was also like,
Right.
I need to let them have their own house and
Yeah.
their own place.
Even when I come over now and you've changed my room up slightly, I'm like, hmm, my room's been moved. Something's been added that I did not approve of.
I didn't say yes to
Interesting.
this.
Hmm.
So yeah. Did you hear about what was it that I wanted to add? There was something here. Hang
Oh.
on. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Everybody hold on. Hold on. Where is it? Oh my goodness, that's so
Oh, I'm knocking
where'd she
over things.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
While he's
Yep.
looking for that, I got my new pop display going. I've got Alexander Hammy over there.
Hammy.
Little Pam Beasley, little Spidey Man. This
Hammy
is
B.
Killua from Hunter x Hunter. Anyone that watches that, and then Inosuke from Demon Slayer, and then Bucky Barnes. And she falls over a lot, so she has to balance over here. But this is my little Elena, and then my
Ah,
Alice in Wonderland. Are you done? Did you find your thing yet?
no, I can't
All
find it
right.
now. It's
So then
like
I also
gone.
have a tiara. This is my Ren Fair tiara. Hey Alice, if you could not. This is my Ren Fair tiara. Isn't it pretty? Sits like this. There we go. Now I'm a princess. No, I'm not a princess.
I don't know.
Um,
I can't find it. It is what it is.
ah!
Jasmine,
Did you
where can
look
they
in your
find you?
history?
No, but it's all right. Where can they find you?
Well, hold on, because now I want to know.
I don't remember what it was. That's the problem.
Was it pop culture news?
Maybe.
Was it the Legos?
No, it wasn't that.
Hmm.
I don't know. Where can they find you?
Uh, they can find me crying. Um, ow. They can find me over at Asminsta or Asminsta1721. I don't know which one is where. Just look me up under both and you'll find me. On TikTok and Instagram. Not on Facebook for the public. Not on X. I am, but don't follow me. And you can find the show over at No Impulse Control on TikTok and Instagram. We're posting a bunch on TikTok lately. We've been going on a lot of staff outings. It's been very nice. You guys' support has been awesome. Yes.
We don't call it staff outings, by the way. We just hang
Oh,
out,
team
but
bonding.
team bonding
Well,
is
it's staff outings, team bonding. We bring our spouses with us and force them into close proximity of our weirdness. And you
fair.
can find the show. Oh no, we already talked about that. Where can you find you? I'm struggling. Ah,
TSK1239 or the Soccer King 1239 on almost all socials. Also, keep in mind the sorry, not keep in mind. Um, I know that this one wasn't full of laughs, but it also it had meaning to it. I wanted that to be clear. When we go nostalgia, we go nostalgia hard, apparently. So, but we'll see you in the next one. Check out the website, thesoccerking1239.com. Maybe there is updates. Who knows?
if Jasmine does her
Anyways,
job, there will be.
if Jasmine does her job, there will be. Anyways, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.